People everywhere are starting to listen to him. He's going on French, British, Italian, Japanese television.
This is the Wide World of Weingarten.
Welcome back, Wide World of Weingarten. It's 2:30, May 5th. I actually recorded this earlier today, and when I sent it in to get edited for release, I realized that I was talking for 25 minutes without the sound on, so I have to re-record this now. Fortunately, the first time I was recording this was during the Angels and the Reds games, so now I get to talk about what happened in those games as opposed to talking about them while they were happening, and two pitchers going in slightly opposite directions that I want to talk a little bit about today. First being my one of my favorite players in baseball, Shohei Ohtani, who pitched at Fenway for the first time, became the first starting pitcher to bat one of the top four spots in a game at Fenway since Babe Ruth did it on September 20th, 1919. The Ottoman Empire still existed last time that happened. Ohtani went on to throw 7 innings, giving up 6 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 11 strikeouts, 99 pitches thrown. 81 of those strikes, I think he had 27 swinging strikes, more than Corbin Burns, the most this year in MLB. 27 swinging strikes on 99 pitches is extraordinary. Doing it while going 2 for 4 and driving in a run is unheard of. Jeff Fletcher, the Orange County Register Angels beat writer, said arguably this is the best game he's ever pitched in the majors. Westgate's currently adjusted his Cy Young odds down to 6-1. He was 20-1 available across the board at DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, everywhere this morning. Now he's between 16-1 and 12-1. I expect those odds will probably keep dropping in the short term. He is clearly a top-tier AL Cy Young candidate at this point. And it's very interesting because I've had this discussion with a couple people the last couple weeks, how it didn't make sense how his Cy Young odd is like 20-1, while his MVP odd is like 4 or 5, because the pool and the amount of players in the Cy Young is much smaller. It's only pitching specific, and normally it would be backwards. If Jacob deGrom was 5-1 for Cy Young, he might be 20-1 for MVP, but this is saying that he's a favorite for MVP, but he's not, he was a second tier, whatever you want to call it, Cy Young candidate. Even at the beginning of the season, he was 30-1, 40-1, which I thought was relatively crazy numbers. But arguably he's pitching better than he was last year. He's playing better overall. I think last season his hitting is struggling a bit. The home runs are down. Home runs are down for everybody, though. So comparing year-over-year numbers might not be the best at the plate, but seeing what he's doing as a pitching and how much he's improved as a pitcher coming off an MVP, it's pretty extraordinary. I think he absolutely continues to deserve to be the favorite for the MVP, and he deserves to be one of the favorites for the Cy Young right now. Obviously, Justin Verlander's having a spectacular season. Kevin Gausman, Shane Bieber. There's 5 other guys. I can go through the list, but Logan Gilbert, another one. But Ohtani deserves to be up there with all of them, possibly even ahead of them. I mean, again, 11 strikeouts, 27 swinging strikes. We're going 2 for 4 at the plate, and getting a win, 7-0, 8-0. I think was the final score. One of the finest days of his career again. So that's the Ohtani update for the day. It wasn't initially scheduled, but we got one anyways. If you haven't gotten some Cy Young money down, anything above 10-1, I think is probably reasonable at this point. He should be and likely will remain one of the front runners in both markets as long as he's relatively healthy. The other team and pitcher I wanted to talk about is Hunter Greene and the Reds. The Reds, I think, lost their 22nd game today, took a 3-0 lead in the first inning, didn't hold it by the end of the first inning. They were tied 3-3, then they were down 6-3, lost 10-5. Hunter Greene, he had 7 strikeouts in 2.2 innings. That's the good news. When you retire 8 batters and 7 of them are strikeouts, you got something very impressive going on. He went over his strikeout total too, but he also gave up 8 runs, and a couple of those were off home runs. And his velocity is amazing, but when you throw hard in a straight line, guys eventually realize you're gonna throw hard in a straight line, and they're going to hit very long home runs off you. It's not the first guy I remember to throw 101 miles an hour and have a home run problem. Miguel Castro is a pitcher with similar velocity stuff that comes to mind. But I would say Hunter Greene is probably a better overall prospect. I'm just using Miguel Castro as an example. Anyway, Hunter Greene, he's now 40-1 to win the MVP at Westgate. So they're saying probably not going to happen. I think 40-1 is where I put most pitchers that haven't shown anything incredibly extraordinary. Max Meyer, I would probably put lower than 40-1. Joe Ryan's another guy who deserves to be under 40-1. I was saying Hunter Greene might end up down in AAA, but Kyle Boddy, who used to work for the Reds, is one of the founders of Driveline, a very, very smart, sharp baseball mind, one of someone I highly regard and whose information I listen to and learn from. He tweeted something out about Hunter Greene, and he changed my opinion on him going to AAA, and he's absolutely correct. He says Hunter Greene's one of the top 5 starting pitchers the Reds have, so he deserves to be in the big leagues just based on that. That's absolutely correct, but he points out you have to be careful turning real games into video games. A AAA game isn't a pitch design session. It has winners and losers. Winning is a skill to develop. It isn't clear Hunter would be adequately challenged in the minor leagues anyways. Yes, his AAA numbers are only okay, but he was 21-22 and barely threw a third pitch. He simply outstuffs the minors. His development will be completed at the minor league level, sometimes painfully. That's something that's very important. I don't think it gets explained that way a lot. The minor leagues, a lot of times you get a guy like Hunter Greene. O'Neal Cruz is another example I'd use. They're done with AAA. There's nothing more O'Neal Cruz could really do at AAA. His final development needs to come from getting continuous major league reps, and Pittsburgh's not doing that. Whereas the Reds get it, and they are giving Hunter Greene the innings, and he's showing some really good stuff. Again, 7 strikeouts and 2.2 innings. It's phased, he retired 8 batters and 7 of them were on strikeouts. That's very positive. So there's some good stuff going on there. The home runs, not so great, but he's going to learn. He's going to have to learn to do that stuff at the major league level. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to win Rookie of the Year in the process, and he's probably not going to get the innings to come close because the Reds are going to kind of limit his innings down the stretch to preserve them for when they're not losing 18 games in a row. Same goes for Nick Lodolo. The Will Hill Caesar Sportsbook today, they had the in-season win total on the Reds down to 63.5. It was 64.5 yesterday. After today's loss, it is down to 58.5. I think that is about the absolute maximum. I was thinking they might win 59 games if they're really lucky. I could totally see them going under 58, but the value on that number has been mostly taken out, unfortunately, before I could even get this podcast out. So that's not going to be a play that would have been a play, but nobody would be able to get it. So moving on, I think the Dodgers are about to play 31 games in the next 31 days. And I wanted to highlight Mookie Betts, his last 9 games. He has a .344 batting average, .421 OBP, .531 slugging, .954 OPS, .481 weighted on base average, .176 WRC plus, 2 home runs, 0 strikeouts. The best number on him for MVP right now is actually 30-1 at the Superbook, 25-1 at BetMGM, DraftKings, and FanDuel. Those are numbers I can definitely get behind. I see Ronald Acuna is trading as high as 10-1. I don't think Mookie Betts deserves to be 2 or even 3 times that number. I just don't see it. 30-1, also same odds as Jazz Chisholm. One of those guys is a serious contender for MVP, and one of those guys plays second base for the Marlins. I have mentioned I think Jazz Chisholm is a MVP candidate in the future, but I'm talking like 2 years from now, maybe, when he's hitting his peak, he is not there yet. But you look at the last 2-week numbers for NL MVP, I'm talking runs, home runs, RBIs. Arenado got 4, 3, 11, 4 runs, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 404 OBP. Machado 12, 2, 8, 463 OBP. Juan Soto 10, 2, 3 with the 368 OBP. That's not updated before his 6th home run today at Coors. I love me some Juan Soto. Ronald Acuna 0, 0, 2, 286 OBP. He's getting an incomplete though because he's just coming back from injury. Those are some of the MVP favorites. Then you get Mookie Betts. He's got 17, 4, 5 over the last 2 weeks. So his numbers pretty much match up with anybody in the NL over the last 2 weeks. And I think that 30-1 is just too far of a drift. 25, same thing. Those numbers just drifted too far out. Jeff Passan did tweet something right when I was getting ready to re-record this, though. Juan Soto has 6 home runs and 7 RBIs. Not that RBIs matter one way or the other, but that is a kind of a funny number. Soto, not Passan, was as high as 16-1 for MVP. I think he's down to 8-1 now. Keep an eye on that. I think he's worth a shot over 10-1 again, but not running to play Soto at a low number this early. We saw him drift out, I think 150-1, 200-1 last year. So not going to play these favorites this early. Gonna take a break real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna talk about some Rookie of the Year stuff. I have some bets for tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'll be back in a minute. Welcome back, second half of the show. Wide World of Weingarten. The NL Rookie of the Year market. I think Seiya Suzuki is moderately or massively overpriced right now as a odds-on favorite. He's minus 110 at the Westgate. Various other numbers. Let's see. I'll pull it up real quick. I got it on here on my computer somewhere. Sorry, excuse me. I have Suzuki. He is 161 at BetMGM, 160 at FanDuel, and I don't see a number for DraftKings up here at the moment. But those are very high. I would not pay any of those numbers for Seiya Suzuki. He over the last 2 weeks, he's 8 for 51, 4 runs, 0 home runs, 4 RBIs, a 189 OBP. None of those numbers come close to justifying a minus 110 or a minus 161 or any of these prices that are available. Mackenzie Gore, he's down to 4-1. He was 9-2. Now he's 4-1. He's second favorite, just kind of by virtue of being the only guy doing things right now. Only pitcher doing things, especially with Hunter Greene and his 8+ ERA, not really a contender. Mackenzie Gore has thrown 21 innings with four earned runs, 22-9 strikeout to walk rate, a 1.17 ERA, and a 1.19 WHIP. Those are pretty good numbers. He's gone at least 5 innings in all of his 4 starts. He had a home and away versus the Reds, and then he got the Braves and at Cleveland. So nice assortment of teams going at least 5 innings in all of those is impressive. There's also there's a little bit of a starting pitcher crunch in San Diego with Yu Darvish, Sean Manaea, and Joe Musgrove guaranteed spots. Mike Clevenger's back. Blake Snell's on his way back. So that leaves Nick Martinez and Mackenzie Gore available to basically be the 6-man in a 6-man rotation, with Gore only having pitched 50 innings between 4 minor league levels in 2021, not pitching due to the canceled minor league season in 2020, and being maxed out at 101 innings in 2019. I'm not super excited about his potential to throw over 150 innings. I also think they're going to try to save a lot of those innings to be meaningful innings later in the season. So I do question how they are going to use them and stretch out the limited number of innings they have to pitch him over the entire season, if that is so the plan. As I mentioned, Gore's major league numbers. He has 21 innings, 4 earned runs, 22-9 strikeout to walk rate, a 1.17 ERA, and 1.19 WHIP. Max Meyer, who I like a lot and have a lot of money on it at very big numbers, he has 26.1 innings, 5 earned runs, 33 strikeouts, 6 walks, a 1.17 1.71 ERA and a 0.797 WHIP, similar to what we were just discussing about Kyle, what's his name, Hunter Greene and Kyle Bodies, what he was saying. The rest of the development for Max Meyer is going to have to come at the major league level. He's shown that he's far and above, done with AAA pitching. If you happen to have access to Fox Bet, by the way, they're hanging a stray 66-1 on Max Meyer. Everybody else has moved. I see 35. I see 20 at BetMGM. I see 25 at FanDuel. I see 10-1. The lowest at Superbook. So Superbook's taking some money, either listening to the pod or seeing my stuff on Twitter, or whatever article I wrote about this for VSiN. It only takes like $500 to move these numbers, but it's nice to see the Westgate has taken some money on both Max Meyer and Nolan Gorman, for that matter, also 10-1. But if you have Fox Bet, like I mentioned, 66-1, big stray number out there. I don't know what the limits are, but if they hang it, you can bet it. So you might get like a $6.88 max on it or something. But definitely take advantage of some of these weak numbers if possible. According to the site I use, they're saying the max bet's $500, but I don't really believe that. You can try it out though, because I don't have Fox Bet and I've never used them. So somebody hopefully hits that number. But Meyer, unlike Gore and unlike Hunter Greene, he maxed out at 111 innings in the minors last year. He pitched in college before that. He could easily push 150 plus innings this year. With 21 already done in the minors, there's no reason to waste any more of those innings at AAA. I really do think that currently Suzuki is a very vulnerable favorite. And so many of these guys who haven't been called up yet, even an O'Neill Cruz, Joey Bart's 40-1. Those are some really big numbers on a guy who's starting. Like I mentioned, Max Meyer already. There are guys who are contributing and who haven't even come up yet that I think are better options in the NL Rookie of the Year market than Seiya Suzuki. In the AL Rookie of the Year market, we have a 5-way race developing between Julio Rodriguez, Bobby Witt Jr., Spencer Torkelson, Jeremy Pena, and Joe Ryan. Using the last 2 week numbers, Julio Rodriguez is 15 for 25, 6 runs, a home run, 8 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, 9 total stolen bases on the season. Very impressive. A 339 OBP. Bobby Witt, 14 47, 4 runs, a home run, 4 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 340 OBP, beating J-Rod by 1 point average in the OBP category. Witt is not at risk of being sent down. I don't think Julio Rodriguez is at serious risk of being sent down. Not leading MLB in 9 stolen bases. If Julio Rodriguez comes anywhere close to having 10, 15 home runs, 40 stolen bases, I think he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, but I'm just using these last 2 week numbers, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself there. Spencer Torkelson, 6 for 40, 2 runs, a home run, 3 RBIs, a 261 OBP. Another guy gonna have to figure it out in the majors. He's got nothing left to do at AAA, but he's not doing much. Earlier I suggested that they should flip him and Miguel Cabrera in the lineup, get Torque more at bats, but I can see why they're not doing it right now. He's just not ready. He's got work to do. Then there's Jeremy Pena. He's 7 for his last 47, 7 runs. Three of those 7 hits are home runs, though. 10 RBIs, a 245 OBP. Pena's interesting because his name isn't as popular as Bobby Witt or Julio Rodriguez, but he's producing. He's hitting home runs. Got 3 in the last 2 weeks, 5 overall. He's done a really good job replacing Carlos Correa. Replaced most, if not all, of his production so far this season. And with all those 4 guys priced 5-1, I would say there's really no value though on Pena at this point. J-Rod winning the counting stats battle with the 9 stolen bases and the home run. If you zoom in, you zoom out, J-Rod's numbers are pretty respectable considering what we know about his early strikeout problems, and his numbers are only going to get better. There's also Joe Ryan, whose first 27.2 innings this season have yielded 28 strikeouts, 7 walks, 5 earned runs, so a 1.63 ERA, a 0.83 WHIP. Can't overlook that. I think he would seriously get some first place votes at the moment. Still a lot of time though. Matt Brash got demoted to AAA, so he's basically done. Tristan Casas hasn't been called up yet. He's still 60-1. I think there's a little bit of value there. Grayson Rodriguez, I see 66-1 at BetMGM. A lot of 65-1s, all widely available. FanDuel, BetMGM 66. I see Superbook's taking enough money. They moved him to 18, so you want to bet it still. There's a lot of places you can take a shot on that. And then there's Adley Rutschman, who just got promoted to AAA earlier today. It's the last stop for him before he joins Baltimore Orioles at some point this season. Wouldn't surprise me if this is a short 2-week, 3-week sort of thing to get around the Super 2 deadline, and then he's up. He's still 18-1, so if you haven't gotten into the AL Rookie of the Year market and you're looking for a serious guy like who has a real opportunity, 18-1 is definitely a bet, especially when you see a guy like Steve Kwan, who's probably going to fade from the picture the rest of this season, is 10-1. I think I would definitely put Rutschman a tier higher than he is in the odds currently. I see a couple other random stray numbers out there. For example, if you think Jose Ramirez is a good MVP candidate, he's still 12-1 at BetMGM. Aaron Judge, I see some 12-1s floating around for MVP. Westgate made him 5-1 co-favorite. I think that's a little aggressive. I mentioned the Mookie Betts 30-1 and 25 are some pretty good numbers there on Mookie. And let's see, I think there was like one other number that I saw. Oh, if you like Brandon Woodruff, they dropped him to 50-1 at the Superbook for Cy Young. I think it's kind of tough when you're the second best pitcher on your own team, but I see 50, and that's compelling for seeing some of the guys ahead of him. Don't forget about Jacob deGrom, by the way. We'll get an update on him soon, but I see Superbook back to 100-1 on Jacob deGrom for Cy Young. I think that's way too high. If nobody bets that, I might bet that myself this week. But yeah, I think that's basically my take on the futures for tomorrow. For Friday, if you want some bets that I've made early, I have money on the Mets -126 and the Padres -115. That's Scherzer versus Kyle Gibson and Sergio Alcantara versus Yu Darvish. Both of those are Friday. Good luck if you could play those and get relatively close numbers. I play those plus minus about 5 cents from where I said them. So good luck. Thank you for listening, and I will be back with more future stuff this weekend, probably Friday, Saturday. Have a couple episodes going, so thanks for listening.